What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I am joined once again by not seven, by Mr. VIP freaking Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am infinitely awesome, sir. I had to tell Seven that some things need to get done around here, and he needs to do them. The thing about it is, he said he would, so I can't get mad that he said that he was gonna do it. Just
But I mean, if he said
he,
he was gonna do it, why didn't he do it?
I just asked him, so there's there was no need for the rage.
Okay.
I asked him to do it. He said okay, and that was it. That was a complete transaction.
Okay.
Sorry. How are you, sir?
Confused. I have no idea
Well,
what's going on.
I gotta say it for the people that cares when I say it, okay? So the ones that don't care, I gotta say it even louder. I am infinitely awesome.
Well, I
Thank you
heard
for
that part.
asking. Well,
That part I got. Everything else, that's what lost me.
well, that's not the part you need done. Just the infinitely awesome part is the part you need done.
That's not the part I need
Everything
you to
else
focus
is
on. They're infinitely awesome. That's what we need. That's what we
that
here to
is the
talk about.
main takeaway. Right. That's like, listen, Halloween just passed, but the gift that keeps giving is me giving you this infinitely awesomeness.
There it is.
It's like the treat without a trick on it. Who
Aren't
needs
most
tricks
treat
when you got treats?
aren't most treats not associated with tricks?
This is a family show, man.
Is it
It
though?
is not a family. It's not a family show at all.
But what it is all things super, where every week we take a piece of superpowered movie, TV show, even trailers. We watch them, we react to them, we break them down, we review them, and we answer the question: is it super?
Is it?
Is it? I don't know. Sometimes we don't answer the question at all. But anyway, if
Right.
you like that, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to follow us on social media, just go ahead and click the link in the description below.
And leave a comment. We'll read it potentially. Maybe.
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 Definitely.
I love reading our comments.
But we are back. We are talking about episode 3 and episode 4 of Loki season 2. This show.
Yo, you will address him as you should address him, the god of mischief, the brother of Thor,
I don't think
the
he wants to
son
be
of
referred to
Laufey,
as the brother of Thor.
the brother of Boulder,
No, I'm not. I don't think he
the
wants.
brother of
I don't think he would want
Helen.
to be referred to as the brother of anybody. He would rather them be referred to as the brother of Loki or the brother or sister of Loki. Because if you refer to somebody as the brother of so and so, then that means that so and so person is more important than the person that you're talking about.
Don't stop him from not being your brother or your
I'm not
sister
saying that it stops you from being your brother or your sister. I'm just saying I
or
don't think that's what he
your
wants to be referred to as.
stolen father Odin. Odin is out here just stealing babies. Just I'm gonna take this baby as a trophy because I defeated y'all in war.
I
Which
guess.
they do those type of things. I'm gonna raise him as my own, but I'm not gonna make him king because he not mine.
It's
This is
I'm gonna let him.
horrible.
I'm gonna let him live in my house, but I'm not gonna leave him no money when I die.
Right, that's horrible, man. Odin. You know what? I've learned Disney does not like parents at all. They
But
just don't.
it's not that they don't like parents. They don't like two parent households. They have a real big
That
thing
is
against two parent households.
well, they killed Odin and they killed Odin's wife.
That is
So
true. Both of them
and
get it
Tarzan
sometimes.
parents died, and what happened to the Frozen girls' parents? Are they alive?
They died shipwreck.
Uh, Disney, why?
Why
What's
all these
going
people losing
on?
their parents?
Why you gotta just like
Mm,
Nemo's mom? Just what's going on?
there are a few. There are a few, just a few princesses that
I
have
never
both their
seen Ariel's
parents.
mom from the Little Mermaid. Never
No,
saw his
but
mom one time.
Moana has both her parents. Um, Merida has both her parents.
Lilo doesn't. Lilo doesn't have any of her
No,
parents.
Lilo doesn't have any of her parents. Um,
Mulan has both of her parents.
is her father still alive?
Wow, that's horrible, dude. She I don't think he's alive in the second one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The
Again,
second one is
Disney hate
technically
parents.
canon.
So Loki's back trying to save the
Our
TVA.
favorite Disney princess.
Oh wow, that's horrible.
But
But the
he is
interesting
he
part
is
about
working
it
so
is
hard.
we're seeing all the, you know what?
That did not come across at all, but Mr. VIP Frankie Washington is applauding the show.
I was just actually trying to kill a mosquito. Other than
Oh,
that,
okay.
just
I couldn't tell with the choppiness.
with the slow hand clap. Listen, I'm in my glitchy era right now. You getting glitches from me? You're welcome. I'm giving you the
That
most
sounded
powerful
awful.
glitching that I can.
If you getting glitches from
Came
me,
across,
you welcome. Out here
yeah,
giving
it
everybody
came
glitches.
across. Hey, don't make it sound like a symptom, okay?
That's
It's
what it sounded like you said.
well,
It
it's
it's
doctor
spreading.
prescribed.
The glitches are
No, it's
spreading.
not spreading. It's a welcome spread. They want this. They lay it out like a buffet at a brunch. Everybody want this glitch. I should hope. But listen, Loki, like you said, Loki is working hard to save the TVA because with this time slipping, like the glitch, see that? See that? Loki
Right.
glitch, I glitch, it's the same thing.
Oh,
So
is it
with
the
this
same
time
thing?
slipping, well, Tom Hiddleston's getting paid way more than I am for glitching. So
I meant in the
but
aspect of the multiverse because we saw glitching into the Spider Verse, but the time slipping is a
yeah,
little bit different.
all the heroes glitch, Spider. You need to get on game, man. I'm trying to tell you, me, Miles, Tom, Loki, we're all glitching. Even your girl from Wreck-It Ralph. What's her name? I forget her name.
Vanellope.
Yeah, yeah, she the queen. We all glitched out. We got Nicki Minaj too. She be glitching all the time. Katy Perry,
Okay,
Taylor Swift. I'm just letting you know what it is. You got to get on your glitch game, man. Get on your
gotcha.
glitchy.
No,
See,
don't
I
think.
didn't even want to say that.
So Loki trying to save the TVA.
Working hard, man. This guy is really, he sort of past the future. He knows the TVA is going to be destroyed. He's working hard to try to save this thing. He needs the temporal aura essence. Oh, I want to call it essence, but I know it's aura. I don't know
Yeah,
why I want to call it essence.
I don't know.
So
It's
he needs a
just
temporal aura
it
from
sounds
Victor
like
Timely.
it flows a little bit better. Temporal essence versus temporal aura.
Yeah, it does. Sound like we should be writing this show, or at least being in the room while they're writing it, just to get a check. I love how they this but shut up, Seven. I love how this buddy cop situation is going on with Morbius and Loki.
Yeah,
The dynamic is really, 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 really compatible.
and I mean we got a big glimpse of that in episode 2 when they were kind of interrogating X5. The little back and forth that they were going with, and the plan, and having Loki go in there and kind of like torture him a little bit, and Mobius acting like he's trying to break down the door, get in the door. You
Yeah,
know,
good cop, bad cop.
yeah, and they've been doing it real well. And even when they just stop for a minute and kind of because everything is going to shit right now, but even when they stop and they have these personal like one-on-one talks between them, it adds so much depth to everything else that they're going through.
Is it the best time traveling show that you've seen?
Best time traveling show.
with all of its loops and all of its Ouroboroses and all of its
This season for
circles and all
sure
of
are they're leaning very heavily into the Ouroboros thing. And they're doing it well because it's, as they say, you know, time works differently in the TVA. So having everything be on a loop is like a very compact like explanation of everything that they had already been talking about, like what has happened
right,
will happen, and you know, all this other kind of stuff. And to be able to kind of see that, you know, Timely learned from Ouroboros, who learned from Timely, who learned from Ouroboros, you know, and it's like, where does it end or where did it start? Like, how could it have started if it had already been going? Right? So crazy. It's just
right, mind
wow.
blowing. I think when I seen Loki seeing himself and knowing that he had to prove himself,
Yeah.
just knowing that, like, when it happened to him, he's like, I wish it did. But when he seen him there, he knew he had to send him back because the things that he was going to do was going to get him to the point of where he is. He knew he had to send him
Right.
back.
He had to
So
send
it's
him
like
back so he could
that
be able to
journey,
send
just
him back.
that part right there, closing that loop made it. And then again, remember we was watching that first episode, who was calling on the phone? And then
We
to
didn't know.
find out it was OB calling on the phone. Like, why
What's
you
taking you
guys
guys
taking
so
so
long?
long? Like, it makes sense. It makes so much sense. So I, I'm gonna ask the question again. Best time traveling movie you or TV show you've seen?
I
If
mean,
not,
it's
who's the
definitely
contender?
the best time traveling show that I have any recent memory of. I'm trying to remember what other time traveling shows that I kind of like intensively watched.
Project Adam.
Well, that was a
Uh,
movie.
well,
Are we comparing
just
shows and movies?
movie quality. I don't know.
Oh, I mean,
I mean, it's not like it feels like everything out of Phase Four went into this show. Like every
it does look
like
really good.
Marvel exploded and then retreated into Loki. Because this is the only thing, and I'm sorry, Secret Wars just wasn't it. Miss Marvel was good for, I'm not gonna
I
dunk
mean,
on it.
Secret
It's great for the
Invasion.
culture. Secret Invasion wasn't it either.
Secret
Secret,
Wars hasn't come
Secret.
out yet.
Well, let's just hope and pray that it is it, because I don't know. Is this team gonna transition on? Because if
I
not,
I don't know.
um,
I'm just feeling like there's gonna be a big reset at some point.
well, there has to be because you got to get this Fantastic Four in here. There's so many mutants.
Right.
There's so many mutants.
So many
You got to
characters in
get those
general.
guys in there. Yeah, just the IP is gonna be ridiculous. You could have a Gambit story by itself. You could have a Jubilee story by itself. Cyclops story by itself. Come on, Beast,
Yeah,
Nightcrawler, Rogue, Storm. Do I have to name
definitely
all
one for
the X
Storm.
Men? Because Colossus. Because we could do this all day.
Yeah.
There's so many X Men, and Marvel, if they're really dialing back and doing things like they were doing it before, I can see them establishing these heroes before they bring them together in
You
the
know what
Xavier
they
school of
could do?
let them walk through a time portal like Loki's been doing.
Not necessarily the idea of bringing mutants to the MCU or however they're going to do that, but once we do have mutants in the MCU, if they had a show called X-Men Origins, and then every episode, just how they have like the Marvel Legends show, like anytime they have a new movie coming out, and they have the Marvel Legends thing, and they kind of revisit the path that this hero has taken and how they got up to where they are or where they're going to be in their movie. if we have a show like X-Men Origins where we could see the backstory of Cyclops and Jean and Storm, and all those kind of stuff, get familiar with those characters, and then have those actors then transition into an X-Men movie.
Everybody, you being real selfish right now. Everybody want their X-Men already assembled. They don't want these solo projects. They want X-Men versus Avengers. They're not trying to do all this.
Well,
Trying to find out who's the
we
new
can't love the
Wolverine.
character if we don't know where the character came from. We were talking about that with Moon Knight.
We're
Do
done with
we
origin stories.
really care that much about
We don't want to see anybody else's origin story.
him?
No one. No one gets an origin story. It's
No more
not
origin
origin
stories.
story.
So when we get Wonder
People's
Man in the MCU, it's not going to be an origin story.
hey,
It come back at some point, or maybe we really lost him for good this time.
universe.
I didn't catch any of that
Buddy, you
because you
there?
were
You're glitchy.
frozen. Can you hear me? Must be a massive delay. Or unless he froze again. Nope, completely lost him. We can definitely see you better though. We
Yeah.
still got it's still a little glitchy, but we can definitely see you better.
I'm gonna try not to move.
But what were we saying? Oh no, I was saying you say we're talking about not getting any more origin stories. So I said when we get Wonder Man, is it not going to be an origin story? And so then you started talking, and I missed everything.
Yeah, no more origin stories.
I mean, we
No
gotta
more
have
origin
origin
stories.
stories.
If they say, hey, buddy, no, they're gonna say, hey, how you got here? You just go, hey, I've been here the whole time. I've been here the whole time. What?
That is not gonna fly.
Hey, how'd you get your powers? Hey, I got have my powers the whole time. What are you talking about? What? I've been here.
Where were you in the
Origin
Battle of New
story, no
York?
origin. I was here the whole time on the other block fighting those what do you call them? Chitari? Yeah, I was here the whole time. The whole
That's a
time.
cop out. That is a cop
How'd
out.
you get your powers? Just like Adam Warlock. I was born with them and I had them the whole time.
They don't even know who Adam Warlock is.
I'm just saying that's how I would introduce. There's no more origin story. Everybody has been here. Hey,
Oh.
where you been? I was on the other block. Been here.
Well, I mean, they did
You
it
know,
with Hawkeye.
yeah, I know all those guys. Yep. Been there the whole time. Agent 13. Or was it 31?
No, it was Agent 13. We already know
Agent
who
just
Agent
likes
13
it.
is.
Sharon Carter?
Yeah.
Peggy Carter?
No, not Peggy Carter.
Elizabeth Carter?
I don't know who that is.
No. You know those Carters well. I don't
But anyway, so yeah, so Loki is probably the best time travel show that I've seen. They know because, and we talk about this, and we talked about it when we were doing the last season of Loki, where basically Smart Hulk laid it out. When it comes to time travel, either it's all a joke or none of it is. And the way that they're approaching the whole theme, like I mentioned before, about time being a circle and everything is predetermined, and having that scene at the end of episode 4 go back to episode 1, and just everything in between about Sylvie asking Loki, who are we to determine, what happens to people? because now Loki is saying, well, you can't give people free will and then leave them unchecked, right? And it's
This is
like,
true. This is very true.
why? And it's the whole argument of why should it be them that are making the decisions? And I mean, to Loki's point, is like, well, if not us, then who? You know, you're going to leave it to somebody else who might be just as bad as he who remains? Or would you want to handle it until where we both know that we want to do something that's going to make a difference and we can have control over that? And then so Sylvie will say, either way, we're playing God. And I love, 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 love. Loki gets up close to her and just softly says, we are gods. And I was
Um,
like, I'm glad that they finally referenced it, because even when they were in Chicago and they were looking at, the wooden sculptures of Odin and Thor and Balder, and they had the whole, funny conversation about Balder. Like, nobody even remembers who he is. But Mobius told Loki, he's like, I always forget that you're one of those guys. And other than, some of the magic that Loki has kind of been showing out this season, we haven't referenced the fact that he is a god almost at all. And like most of the last season and never really in this season. But he is, and Sylvie is as well. And so, not that that means that they, since they're gods or they're seen as gods, that means that they should rule over people. But traditionally, in all sort of, theocratic civilizations, there's been some type of god that the people feel determines what it is that they do in life. So, I love that line, and it just kind of shows how deep that they're trying to get in with these characters this season. And then, of course, we get the deep relationships and the deep conversations that Sylvie has with Mobius, that B-15, has with the other, I guess, the new judge. And because they have, what was it, Hux locked up, and B-15 is like, well, we need her. She's a general. Her like main priority is to protect the TVA. And she's like, well, I don't think that I can, I don't think she'll ever like listen to me or anything. And the judge tells her, she's like, you can change her mind because you changed mine. And it's like, going into
right.
the season, I wouldn't have thought that all of these characters would have had so much time to develop, because we're talking
Character
about,
growth.
yeah, we're talking about Loki, we're talking about Sylvie, we're talking about Mobius, B-15, Obius, X5, Ravonna, even Miss Minutes. We're getting
And
character growth out of Miss Minutes
and and Casey.
and Casey. And how in these 40-minute episodes, or we only have had 4 of them, how do you take that many characters and make every single one of them be meaningful? Like, how is that possible?
I don't know, but I tell you what, they might want to start holding a council with these showrunners that's on Loki, and so they can see how to do it in their structure. Again, it's not a lot of episodes, but there's a lot of content inside of these short amount of episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, how could they not? Because they could show up anywhere on any timeline and at any point in time. That's a kind of like a god ability. So
Right.
Loki's not wrong when he says what he's saying. And then you have the power of life and death in your hand. But, I guess you're going to get in a technicality of how godly are you, because if we're talking about throughout time and timelines, we're talking bigger than celestials in a sense,
Yeah.
because a celestial would be in that timeline.
Right.
A celestial is on that timeline as well as
I mean, it may
everything
be
else
right.
in that timeline.
They may be powerful, but they can't dictate what's going to happen to somebody on the timeline. Right.
So you got to understand the levels of what we're talking about here. He's already bigger than Thanos. The
Yeah.
the Infinity Stones are paperweights in this realm. It's just like the
Right.
threat level is higher, and I think that is established. I don't think we've done a good enough job establishing the threat as of yet, because smaller warnings for anybody that hadn't watched the season. I'm pretty sure you guys are, in love with us heavily if you haven't watched Loki yet, and we're talking about it. But Victor Timely gets killed
Yeah.
at the end of the episode, and how many deaths is that now? Three.
I mean, two and one with an asterisk because we don't.
Sylvie killed him. He turned to spaghetti. Uh, he got exiled, and he got ran over by Engine Corps. So we don't feel the threat as of yet. We know there's a lot of them,
Right.
but Captain Marvel got a pretty strong beam that she shoots from her hand.
She might take him out with no
She
problem.
could, yeah, she could mow a lot of them down. You're not really a threat as of there's a lot of you. Okay,
Right.
and you manipulate time. Okay, but as
But
far as a physical fight, you don't sound like you're doing nothing.
I do think that in Victor Timely's case, I don't think he was meant to be seen as a threat.
Oh
He
no, no, no,
he
no.
but I do appreciate that even though we only got him for like maybe 2 episodes, is that we got to learn so much about who he was as a person in that one episode with when they were in Chicago, and about how he is very brilliant and basically took all his learning from the TVA handbook, which Ravonna dropped in his window when he was a kid. But even when he was a kid, he was already like making candles, so he was
Yeah,
already
a,
inventive.
a passion that I've always wanted to take on myself. I
Candle
like to
making.
make some candles, scented, by the way. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Give y'all a little short story. I would like to make candles, scented ones. Story over. I told you it was
Just
short.
real
I
short
said it was.
story,
I said
two
it was
sentence
short at the
story.
beginning. Well, there you go.
uh Only way it could be short if it was one sentence.
Well, I didn't say a very short story, but
That is
to each
true.
his own.
Right. But so
Okay.
we see him we see him showcase his prototype for the temporal loom and how he's impressing all of these other people and everything. And can you hear me? I'm guessing he can't hear me.
Yeah, I'm trying to listen to you and listen to Seven. Seven's supposed to be fixing the internet, which goes to show why we have these issues.
That's what you get for asking him to do anything, which I said
I
before.
saw the
Why
film for
is he
Seven.
here?
What?
Don't worry about it.
No, no, no. I need
A
you to.
mess.
We're doing the show.
An absolute
Okay,
mess. But
okay. I don't know what this guy.
we get to see Victor and we get to see him showcase his temporal loom, and all of these people who are trying to buy it, you know, it turns out that the guy who initially started the bidding war was working with Timely. Timely paid him off. And we see that he's a bit of a con man. He's a bit of a liar. He's a bit of a sneaky individual. And he also has a stutter, and it really doesn't come out until he starts talking to Ravonna the first time, and we see a little bit deeper into his personality when he brings her back to his house, and he has a
Mm,
refrigerator chair, and he's like showing her,
mm.
and kind of like
Yeah,
showing
dog.
off,
You
and I
ain't
was
never seen nothing like this. You never seen a keep your beverage cold in your chair.
but then we also get to see Miss Minutes show a little twinge of jealousy, and then we get to understand why, and how you know he characteristically doesn't work with partners. He doesn't have a partner, right? He doesn't work with other people. He may hire someone
But
on to do
command of his
something,
partners.
but he doesn't work with a partner. And it's just we learned all of this, and in between, you know, Loki and Mobius looking for him, Ravonna and Miss Minutes looking for him, and then Sylvie pops up and we get the fight on the Ferris wheel. Plus they have the other guys
That's right.
that he shysted. They're looking for him and they're chasing him all over the World's Fair. And so we're getting all of these action set pieces in the middle of, learning about these characters to the point to where we get to the end and there's this big standoff where Sylvie is about to kill him. And he was like, "Why do you want to kill me?" And she's like, he said, "I haven't done anything." And at that moment, even though Sylvie still was trying to, convince herself that it was the right thing to do to kill him, because she was like, "Well, you will do terrible things." And he just tells her, "You don't know me. You don't know anything about me."
Right. This
And
is so true.
it's like, how, if she is talking about protecting lives and saving people, how can she bring herself to kill a person who technically has not done anything wrong just because he's a variant of someone who has? Because I mean, if you think about
Oh
it,
yeah. It's all.
Sylvie is a variant of Loki. Sylvie didn't, try to take over New York. Well, I
No,
mean,
so we
she
we
didn't
still
really.
don't know what her Nexus event was, and she's asked
No.
about it, and I can't help but feel like she felt like herself or a version of her when that was happening. You know, your death is real Minority Report in there. It's like you're destined to do something, but you hadn't done it yet, and so
Right.
you're blaming me for something that I didn't do, but you're gonna do it, but you don't know. I
Right.
could change my mind.
What if her Nexus event was killing He Who Remains?
What if Sylvie's Nexus event was killing He Who Remains?
Yeah. And that's why he sent the timekeepers to go pick her up. But like they say, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. You never thought about that?
Whoa!
Because
It
we really find
it
out,
it would ensure that the multiversal war starts again. But
right?
here's
And
the
it
thing:
revolves
why
and
does
starts
the
again.
multiversal war have to start again? Why does it have to start again? If he who remains is in the, if he's the last one,
Mm-hmm.
and he stepped outside of time, so there could never be another duplicate of him inside of time to create more multiverses and create more multiversal wars, and they're pruning any other variation that could potentially become a Kang variant, or not even really a Kang variant, just a threat of the multiverse, because it may not be another Kang. It may be somebody else discovered time travel and multiversal travel,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the threat towards Kang's empire. So I'm gonna prune all the branching timelines. That makes sense. But the question is, why does it have to end once you've already accomplished what you needed to accomplish?
Because everything has to come to an end. He gets to the
Well,
point to where he's ruled for so long that he's become somewhat bored of it. But he's still a King variant. He's very ambitious, very power
so here's
driven.
the here's the
So,
here's the thing, Spider. Even if
mm-hmm,
he gave it to Loki and Sylvie in season one,
right?
remember that option was there. He said you
Yeah.
guys could run the place. What was he gonna do then? Be the third wheel? Because he can't go back in the timeline.
No. But
He's gonna take over.
I think that he gave them that option because he knew that they weren't going to take it.
All according to his plan.
Everything he paved the road.
That sucks. And
But
it sucks because it feels like you don't have the free will that you think that you have.
I mean, that's the conundrum with free will in real life. Do we have the freedom to do what we want, or are we on a path that has been predestined to us? And if we try to diverge from that path, is that just our original destination anyway. How would we ever truly know?
That's why I love this shit. You don't know until you get to the ending. You get to the ending and you talk to the one who remains, he who remains, and you talk about, hey, why'd you script my life this way?
Right. Did I really have to get in that car accident when I was 7 years old? Like,
Right?
what did,
What's going
how
on
did
with that?
how did that benefit
Why
anybody?
why'd you kill both my parents? You know?
Right.
Disney. Disney, why do you hate parents?
But
I could have been the king of Asgard, you know? But here, the other thing I want to say real quick, Spider, is
mhm,
I think it's gonna be interesting because all along we've seen Loki try to rule Asgard, try to rule Earth, try to rule. He was even thinking about taking over Sakaar because he was getting in good with the Grand Marshal. He told Thor, I'm gonna play in good with the Grand Marshal. Once I gain his favor,
right.
take him out and then rule
Then he rule
Sakaar.
over.
So now the TVA is the kingdom that Loki is going to end up inheriting, if not creating, because we can clearly see after the ending of episode 3, he's going to have to put the team back together again. And then they're going to have to build the TVA. And then I
Yeah,
think
then
when
episode
it comes to
4.
the ending of this, we'll see Tom Hiddleston. Yeah, you said it right. I said it the number before 3. 4. 2? Um I think we're gonna see that as a retirement for Loki. I think he's gonna stay with Sylvie and they're gonna rule over all time and space and
For all
dimension.
time always.
He'll have his queen for all time. All you know what? If they say that to each other, you called it first.
But
And I think that's the thing. But you know those things don't
yeah, of
last.
course not. But we were talking about Sylvie's Nexus event or whatever caused her to be ripped from her timeline and have her timeline pruned. When she asked Ravonna that in the elevator, and Ravonna said, "You know what? I don't even remember." We took that as her being like kind of snarky.
Snooty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she really doesn't remember because she's had her memory wiped.
Ain't that something? Did Kane want to, or he who remains, did he want to wipe memories? It seems. Here's my theory, Spider. I think he who remains is the hero.
Do you?
I think he's the hero. Why is Marvel putting him in the hero shot? When they play the title card, he who remains is in the title card. Only heroes are in that card. We've seen Black Panther, Iron Man. We've seen Black Widow. We've seen Thor, Captain America. We've seen Bucky in there
Miss
some at
Marvel,
some point.
Shang-Chi,
Miss Marvel,
Shuri,
Shang-Chi,
Spider-Man.
and now you see He Who Remains. Quite odd, isn't it?
That is
And
quite
he's in
odd.
this purple hue. I think he's going to end up being a secret hero out of this multiversal saga. Which sacrifice he's going to make, I have no idea.
Hmm.
Or is it gonna be a sacrifice, or is Miss Minutes and Ravonna gonna flip the script and mess up his ultimate plan of all plans, which is to keep himself in existence?
Well,
Going on, it's clear that Kang got a version of himself that was not on the sacred timeline and put him on the sacred timeline just so he could get the book on the sacred timeline, which created a branch timeline, which is where Victor Timely exists.
right.
But the TVA don't know about that for Nexus event that you stated, so they don't know how to stop that. Do you think they're gonna discover that? Because Ravonna knows, and I don't know why she wouldn't just go back and not and stop herself from putting the book in if she really wanted to kill King. and take over the TV.
I don't know if it's that simple
So many
because
unanswered questions.
you go back, and stop yourself. Do you just create a third branch timeline? Because now you've put this Ravona that went back in time, she's now on a different path. So you create
Yeah,
a
she's
third
on the
branch
path to take over the
timeline.
TVA.
But I'm saying that's still another branch timeline. So you take that branch timeline, you still have the branch timeline where she did drop the book in the window. So you're not really killing him in that timeline. Because that's why they started pruning the timelines. Because if you could just go back and you change something, that just
Now you see.
creates another timeline.
Now you understand why Elias is so important. Because he's just gonna come through and eat all those other timelines,
Yeah.
which is a weird depiction as well.
I lost you again.
You say you can control all the internet with your magnetism. But
Yeah.
there you
Well,
go.
whatever you
You're
say, because
back.
I
There you
didn't
go.
I
There
didn't
you go,
hear
Spider. I see you now, buddy.
I didn't hear anything you said.
It's not important. It's only important if you was listening to it.
I mean, I was listening to it. I just couldn't hear it because it came in super choppy.
I said it right the first time.
Okay. But
What's the last thing that you heard? I'm on my glitch. I'm on my glitchy. What's the last thing that you heard?
I don't know, we were talking about it left my brain there just that quick.
Yeah, I have that effect on people.
I don't I'm trying to remember what we were talking about. The glitchiness distracted me.
It's powerful, man. It's powerful. I
It's too
distract people
powerful.
all the time. I was like, well, don't tell people that they become jealous. They want to start glitching on their own.
Maybe. But no, I know we were talking about, he who remains potentially being a hero of the story.
He's a
Um
hero. I just
and
haven't figured out how yet.
I don't know. We'll see. But we have an unknown right now because
Unknown.
we get to the end of episode 4 and the loom's overloaded. It seemingly exploded.
And Obi was right.
We're all gonna die.
He called it.
Yeah.
They all died.
But so where does that leave everything? We still have 2 episodes left for them to come back because we still have scenes from the trailer that we haven't seen where Loki's was still time slipping. He time slipped outside of a jet ski dealership. And that's a scene that we still haven't gotten in the show yet.
I just think it was interesting. I think it was interesting how we pruned Ravonna, so she was out. Miss Minutes got reset, so she's starting over.
Right.
And then I think when the loom exploded and this big, massive urge of energy come back in the timeline. I don't think it's an explosion of death. I think it's an explosion of you're going back in your timeline, which is why we see everyone getting recruited again to go back to the TVA. I think Loki's gonna time slip right as the explosion happens, and he's gonna start to recruit the team. He's going to assemble the Avengers, but they're not called Avengers.
They're not called
They're
the Avengers.
called TVA. Minute. They're called the minute. I don't know what they're gonna call it.
I don't know either.
Play on words or something.
But mentioning Miss Minutes getting shut down and reboot it. Because Obi calls on the phone and is talking about how he's getting locked out of the system because Miss Minutes is keeping him locked out. And he was like, well, is there anything we can do? And it's like, well, we could, shut down the servers or whatever, and that'll cause her to restart. And Mobius is like, well, is that dangerous? Will it affect anything? He was like, oh, well, only the dampener that prevents people from using magic in the TVA. And looking at Sylvia on the phone like, turn it off.
Turn it off. Like, you sick of not being able to use our magic in here.
Right. But then we get that like very spooky scene in the hallway with X5 and he gets surrounded. And it's just so many things that they do so well in this show. How we get B-15 going into the holding cell and talking to Hux, and Hux doesn't seem fully convinced to want to help B-15 out. Then she leaves. Then Ravonna and Miss Minutes come in and have the same sort of speech, but for the other side. And X5 is now like, well, I'm on her side because she's talking about putting me back on the timeline, where he wants to go back and be an actor. And Miss Minutes torturing the whole damn room.
Torture, sir, that is called murder.
Well, eventually murdered the whole room. But to see Hux stand up to Ravonna and see, exactly what she's doing, because she was basically recruiting troops for the for the war, and she was getting ready to fight, and Hux just saw straight through her and was just like, no, basically, to the point to where they're dead now. But to see Miss Minutes get reset and start breaking down and do it right in front of Timely, and her saying, I really thought that they were going to go with the trope of, oh, there's one final thing, and then, she goes away. But the fact that she said, there's one more thing one more important thing I need to tell you, and she glitches out. And then the last thing she says, you'll never be him. And I was like, that was just so cold.
Terrifying.
And the way that she looked too, because like she was like, one eye was out and she was like looking down, like just pissed. It was.
Here's the question though.
Mm-hmm.
I look at that context and I'm questioning, was she trying to reassure him that he was not going to be him, or just saying that she'll never live up to the expectations of ever being as great as he is?
I think
because he was worried about, becoming a tyrant in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
After what Sylvie just said to him, you're going to do horrible things.
Right.
And then for her to say, you'll never be him, I don't think he wanted to be him.
No, but I don't think it was in a way of saying you'll never live up to what he was. What I think even though she was saying you'll never be him, as in you'll never be he who remains, I don't think she was just saying it as a way of, I think she meant it in an insulting way, first of all. Just basically like comparing He Who Remains, because He Who Remains was technically all powerful, overseeing the sacred timeline. But then I think she was also saying it in a factual way, like you'll never be him, meaning you won't even live long enough to see the potential of becoming him. Because I think that
I was gonna like say he'll never be good enough for you. You said live long enough.
Wow. Yeah, and then and it goes into what we see at the end of the episode where he just gets spaghettified.
Well, she didn't know that.
I think she did. She literally.
What?
She literally.
You just gonna be dropping all these goddamn bombs on this.
But you think about it. How long was she with He Who Remains? Because she said that he created her in the beginning just to be a chess partner, and to the point to where she's advanced enough to where she has bodily autonomy. She's able to, like, she doesn't even need to have like a time door or anything. She was able to go back into the past. I don't know if it was because Ravonna had a temp pad in the past, but it's not like Miss Minutes walked through the door and went into the past with
Good
Ravonna.
point.
And, she was able to manifest herself. She was able to enlarge herself and terrorize the people. She has all of this
No, she
in,
did not. She was already in the barn. She was already in the barn when she walked past the.
yeah. And with her and her advanced intelligence, I think that the time that she did spend with He Who Remains, she picked up on, everything that was going on and everything that was going to happen. I know she had to know at some point, he had to like have files that she had access to. I think that because she had access to the video where
Yeah,
He Who
she's
Remains
been
said that he
upgraded.
wanted to erase their memories. So I think that she has all of the knowledge that he had. And so I think that she knew that Timely wasn't going to be the one to, eventually go back and become He Who Remains.
But yet and still be a part of it anyway. Because if his temporal aura is scattered across the multiverse, we can be looking at the origin story of how Kang became a multiversal threat.
And you mean in the sense of his spaghettification being like spread across all the timelines?
Yes. I mean, think about it. Think about it. Didn't we just pull Loki out of the multiverse when he got
When he got pruned, at the exact moment that he got pruned, he got pulled out of the timeline.
exactly.
Which is
So
so
you
weird
had to pull him out.
because
How you
they pulled him out of the timeline to be in the place to be able to get pulled out of the timeline.
they pulled him out of the timeline so he can exist outside of time.
But he was already
So
existing
he could,
outside of time to get pulled out of the timeline.
yeah, it's a circle. Yeah. Here's a question that I really have for you.
I'll answer it as soon as I can hear it.
Here's a question. When Ravonna first is when she's first sent to the Citadel,
Right.
how the hell she get out? She didn't have a temp pad. And she got out. So when she got sent to the Citadel the second time, I was like, well,
She got
she'll
pruned.
get out.
Yeah, true. But
When she first got sent to the Citadel, when Sylvie sent her to the Citadel
she
and
put
she
her through a
saw He
time
Who
door.
Remains
Yeah.
dead, Miss Minutes wasn't there at that current point in time. She just seen He Who Remains, and then Miss Minutes showed up.
Right.
Does Miss Minutes have a temp pad?
I mean, I
She
think
can't hold matter.
Miss Minutes is a temp pad. I think she can
She
open
can't
time doors.
hold nothing.
No, I'm saying
If that's
that
the case, that'll explain how
she
she got out.
yeah, that's she has it in her, maybe she has it in her ability to be able to open time doors. Because I mean,
That
how
makes
else,
sense.
maybe she doesn't need it for her, but she'll need it, if she wants to bring people to the time that she's going to, because how else would she be able to just
I mean,
hop through
she
timelines?
runs the system, so
Right.
she runs the system, so I can see it. I can see it because at first I was wondering how she get out of there.
Yeah, but now that Miss Minutes is reset and Ravonna got pruned, she's now going back to the end of time into the void. But now she doesn't have Miss Minutes to bring her back. And I think that's where we get the scene that we saw in the trailer with her out in the field by Eliath.
Now, how she could get past her life, or is her life not gonna attack her?
Maybe it won't attack her because she may have been, because she was a part of the multiversal war, and
a huge part.
in
She helped him win it.
yeah, in comics lore, Ravonna Renslayer is like she was the one who helped He Who Remains tame Elias. So she may not remember, but Elias may remember her. All I see is you move your head very slowly. Lost you and came back again.
That's what I do. I'm like a, I'm like a kid in the mall.
Some of them don't come back.
I'm not those. I'm a comeback kid. Not to go away and don't come back. It's
Yeah.
a different name. It's he who does not come back.
But I heard that Jonathan Majors was like scheduled for one more episode. So he's supposed to show up one more time. But I'm
Listen,
thinking
I
maybe
don't know
it's
what's
at the end.
going on in the personal life of GM, but man, I sure hope everything works itself out selfishly because I would like to see him go ahead and continue to kill these performances that he's killing in the MCU.
Right. I mean, I agree. But, we can't control anything that happens out in the real world.
Sure can't. I
so
wasn't there.
so I mean if, it all falls through and whether they pivot to a different story or whether they, end up recasting them or whatever, I don't know. But
I don't know either. That's
we'll just have to
million
wait
dollar
and see.
problems that don't concern us.
Right. But
But I'm here for it.
we're enjoying it while we can because like you said, he is killing these performances. That whole moment of him and OB kind of fanboying over each other was just beautifully done. And the whole thing about him being distracted by the hot chocolate.
The man walked in the room and said, "Yeah, that was funny."
But I think that kind of going into, because it was like when that was happening, they were having this whole conversation about free will and destiny and all this other kind of stuff. And so he's helping Casey and OB put his what do they call it, the loom, amplifier or whatever it is, to sort of increase the width of the loom to pull in more branches in order to straighten them all out.
Rings, yeah.
Yeah. And so widening the rings, right. And so while they're talking about that, he gets distracted by the hot chocolate. It really seemed like that is what deviated him from becoming He Who Remains, because he wasn't the type of decaying variant to be steadfast and focused on, the mission. He was too full of wonder, right? He was fascinated by many things, which, I mean, of course, he's from the 1800s. So you come to the TVA where they have a machine where you can get hot chocolate. He's going to want to, see it and
Hey, I'm not
experience it.
even gonna lie to you. When I was a kid, I seen those machines because I'm dating myself. Those things exist. It was like in odd places, and you would definitely wonder how good that hot chocolate is. I I didn't I didn't get any, so I can't tell you.
I
But
I want to
the
say,
guy that sipped on it looked like he might have enjoyed it before he got
yeah,
pruned.
before he got pruned, he looked like it looked like it was really good.
When
And
it hit the floor, it was thick. I was like, oh wow.
it just made me think that
Thick chocolate.
because of the way that Timely was like offering it to him to get him to drink it, it made me wonder if, like, did he modify the machine at all, or was it just that he was too scared to drink it? Because we've seen in some scenes that Timely is a bit of a coward.
Why did we see when all those people get crushed, they immediately went to the pouring of the hot chocolate, as in like their body was lit. You know what's so interesting? And not a lot of guys have brought this to the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
When they was going to show all the goop and all the smashed up intros from everybody getting crushed together, they showed B-15 temp pad and
Yeah,
Miss Minute is saying
you're right.
but the way they did it, it was so clever because we wanted to see what happened because we didn't see it. We only saw the X what's his name?
X5.
X5. We only saw X5 face.
Right.
So when we think that we were going to see the aftermath and the carnage, and it was so cleverly done
Yeah.
because Miss saying you're not going to see what you think you point it out. Point it out.
I mean, yeah, you're
Did I
right.
lose you?
You're absolutely right.
No, those seven. You suck. I just want you to know that. Okay.
I've been
Go
telling
ahead,
him that for
Spider. I can hear
years.
you now. Damn, man, you're so hard on him.
I told you I hate him. It's my
Hate is
nemesis.
such a strong word. Dude, seven is not your. Get a new nemesis.
Listen, once I'm done with 7, I'll find a new nemesis. But no, these episodes have been great, man. I've thoroughly been enjoying this. We've been saying, I hate that it's only 6 episodes, but I really feel like depending on what they show in episode 5, I feel like will kind of determine how well they can land episode 6.
That's the one. It's always the one before the last. What about Cameron? That's all I'm saying. Oh yeah, Cameron. Let me walk into this thing that I just seen murder other people. It won't murder me though.
Right.
What happened? She gets murdered. That's it. You saw it. I saw it. All I'm saying, after watching Loki, it makes sense. It's weird though. Like, what kind of Jinn are you? That you just go, okay. But we got stuff that makes sense in the show if you think about it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people probably are lost with it and it's too much for them, but if you really watch season 1, it puts to bed the Infinity Saga and tells you that we're on something different.
Right.
We're doing time travel now. And this is
Multiversal
how
travel.
it goes. We're doing multiversal time travel.
Mm-hmm.
We have a version of Loki that could look like Loki, could not look like Loki, that's going to destroy the TVA because we set her up on a path that she doesn't even know she's set up on to
Right.
destroy the TVA. And you're here to, and we need your help. And she's hiding in apocalypses, and now Sylvie succeeds in a mission. Loki didn't stop her. He fell in love with her, but he didn't stop her.
Right.
She killed He Who Remains, and he said, "Look, you guys can either take over, or you can kill me and start another multiversal war where I'll just end up right back here anyways."
Right.
Because he knew he had a plan that was going to go into effect that ensure that he ends up there. What the issue is, and what we're watching is everything going according to plan? We don't know if this plan is going to actually be fulfilled or not, and we're
No idea.
here for because we're wondering, is this a part of the plan, or is this he's changed? He's going to end up ruling But that's always what he wanted. But he's ruling for what reasons? He's ruling because he feels as though he is the best to rule versus the other people that could rule. Because his intentions now are good.
But
But are they?
yeah, that's what I was
I
about to
mean,
say.
he's
Are they?
ruling over all time and space. We
Wouldn't
don't know.
all
We don't
wouldn't
know how much of the old Loki is in there.
wouldn't all the Kang variants think that their way is the right way to do things?
Of course they would. But who said their way was the wrong? Who say he who remains way was wrong?
I mean, apparently all the
He
other
only
Kangs
wanted to
because he got
punch the
exiled.
ticket, like you said, because he was tired.
Yeah, but I mean, he had to
I
do
mean,
something to
that's
get
exactly what
exiled.
you would say when you don't win, right? We should have won. It should be my way. Yeah, maybe he didn't want. Maybe he didn't want to prune all the timelines, or maybe he. I don't know. Maybe he felt as though he didn't want to be a ruler, a conqueror. Maybe he just thought, let's just prune these other timelines and let not enslave humanity. Who knows? These other kings could have wanted to enslave humanity or nowhere, or which nowhere is inside of a timeline too. So
Right.
again, just to go to show you how powerful King is, he's over timelines, like lives. When they obliterated those timelines, you could not fathom the life that was lost.
Right. Because when they're talking about, because I mean, it really is trillions instead of billions, but when
There's
they're
no
talking
number
about
that you could put on it.
billions of
Square,
lives,
core, and anything. Yeah,
yeah, you
everything in existence.
right, exactly.
You think what Thanos did? It was just half of the living things in one timeline.
Right.
This dude is destroying multiple timelines. What Thanos is in it? Like,
Infinite number of
this is a
Thanos is being killed.
multiversal threat. Well,
It's wild.
you might have to say thank you for that. But, nobody else is alive either. So
I mean, true.
the
So
MCU is not in a good place right now, Spider. Let's be honest. The president has declared war on extraterrestrial people.
yeah.
Captain America is still MIA. Iron Man's dead. Black Widow's dead from space rocks. Gamora don't like you now. Thor is trying to find himself. Loki is trying to save everybody from outside of space and time itself. While
Hulk.
Ant-Man has had birthday parties eating that nasty green and purple cake.
Hulk got baby daddy issues.
Just out there, who Hulk's baby mama is. Be
Oh,
careful,
no.
Hulk. Disney don't like parents. Let you know right now. Let you know.
Because didn't Kate Bishop's dad die too? He died when in a battle in New York, right?
Yes. It's not Tony didn't die till he had a kid. So I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. You got a kid, you're on the list. So just go ahead and say it.
Disney hates parents.
Disney hates parents. There you go.
Oh,
you heard it from
man.
All Things Super first.
Oh, that was too funny. Oh my God.
I don't want the Expendables to come out with another sequel.
No, we don't need any more.
No, well, I want to see them, but I don't want them to die.
I don't even know if I want to see them.
I love the Expendables, but I don't want to see the Jack show by itself. I want to see the family dynamic.
Yeah, so, but
the Fantastic Four is all right as long as Sue can't have a Nathaniel Richards. Because when they do,
that's the end of it.
He gonna turn on them parents faster than Kylo Ren turned on his. Disney don't like parents.
This is a well-proven fact that we're starting to uncover. It's Brutal. It's
Ah,
so brutal.
Thanos out here stealing children. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
And again, he had adopted daughters. He didn't make it either.
Ego out here trying to look what Ego did to his kid. What?
And then
What?
his son got him.
What?
His son ended up taking him out.
There you go. We don't like Disney. Don't like parents. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna leave y'all with that.
But we definitely have to definitely will hold our verdict on Loki until we get that sixth episode. Cause
Yeah,
like you
because
said, Marvel be marveling and the MCU be MCUing. And those six
they
episodes,
get
that sixth
they get
episode,
right close to the finish line
and
and
then a trip and just slide on their face.
just buckle the ending. Be like, how you just Game of Thrones? You was doing good all season.
There's a very infamous clip, and I know this has happened a bunch of times, but there's a very infamous clip of a college football game, and I forget what the school was. This player catches this awesome pass and runs for like an extra 60 something yards, about to score a touchdown. Right before he crosses the goal line, he drops the ball. And when he drops the ball, it drops right on the outside of the end zone. And then it bounces in such a perfect way because he's going forward. So it's not falling with his momentum. So the ball doesn't fall forward. The ball bounced backwards into the field of play. Defense picked it up, ran 99 yards back for a touchdown. And that's what Marvel does. Marvel gets to the half-inch yard line and they just drop the ball. It's like
Whoops.
you could have gotten major points. Could have won the
Oh,
game.
you was looking for me to stick the landing?
If you drop the ball.
I'm like, what's his name? Super Dave. I get Evil Knievel. I get paid for the attempt.
Super Dave Osborne.
Well, those stunt guys.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan,
They
James Bond.
they don't really have those anymore. Like stunt performers.
Yeah, they all in the WWE.
Oh well.
Or AEW.
Yeah. Because I was about to say after Evil Knievel, there wasn't really anybody else that did it after him.
I think there's some people in like the
X Games, yeah.
game area arena, like in a Red Bull kind of jump over a Prius or something like that.
Yeah, Red Bull has been kind of taking the reins on that kind of stuff.
Prius. It's extreme. It's so extreme.
Too extreme,
so
like
extreme.
the Hardy Boys.
So
But no, we're definitely gonna reserve our vote of super.
Throw my body in the opposite direction and slam you on your face. That's a stunt.
That is a stunt. That is a stunt. But we're definitely gonna have to wait till we see episode 5 and episode 6 before we give our verdict of super or not super when it comes to Loki as a show. But let us know what you thought about episode 3 and episode 4, and what do you think that huge flash at the end of episode 4 meant? Is it a reset, or are we gonna see some additional, out of time things?
Yeah, you never know. They might come in, like you said, if people pop up and just show up anywhere around here. Who knows? Captain America might come back.
You never know. Well, we never know.
Doubtful,
yeah, it's very doubtful. But also, let us know what you thought about this episode. Remember, if you liked it, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you could be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to follow us on social media, just click the link in the description below. And he would say and leave a comment because we like reading the comments, but we glitching again. Jesus. We might lose him. And then he might come right back. Called it. Give him a minute. How are you doing, audience? There he is. We might need to just go ahead and end the show.
Yeah, so I'm like the
I didn't even hear what you said.
I said I'm back. I'm like the lawnmower man.
Oh, I just heard.
I'm going to fix my flux capacitor. G14. G14 flux capacitor, not related to Marty McFly's cut.
Oh, okay. It's something completely different.
Whoa, it don't even look like that.
All rights reserved, patent pending, trademark, copyright.
What? It's not even the same stuff. Mine run on what they run on kilowatts, gigawatts, or mine
yeah, gigawatts.
Mine runs on imagination. But not SpongeBob.
Oh, okay. Different kind of imagination. Gotcha. But
yeah, the copyright gets sued.
Right. But we will be back with the last 2 episodes of Loki. We'll break them down. We'll review them, and we'll find out if the show is actually super. But thank you all so much for your love and support on this episode. We really appreciate it. And until the next time. Yeah, thank you for your patience. We really appreciate it. But we'll see you all again in the next episode. But until then, just remember, be being super.